Reality. Reality receipts.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Reality Receipts podcast starring me, Storytime with Ricky.
And me, Reality Ashley. I'm a little tired today. It took 10-year-old boys to a hockey game last night. It's my oldest. Yeah, my oldest son is turning 10 at the end of the month, but because of our hockey schedule, we had to do the party last night. So yeah, a lot of young boys hopped up on sugar. They had donuts, they had popcorn, they had slushies. It was like the best night of their lives, but
I bet. I
a little
bet.
crazy for me, but I'm glad that they had a good time because, most birthday parties is like 2 hours, and this was like 5 hours of
Oh my God.
craziness, but
Oh my. How did you get through it? I'm tired for you.
they had fun. They have like a little birthday package. It's like a WHL team. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a bigger league, I guess. And so they
Mhm.
got to like high five the players. They got to go on the big screen. So super fun for them.
Wow.
But
Fun.
yes, a little sleepy today for me, but still have the energy to talk about all these shows that we love. We're gonna do Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and London today. But before we get into that, we got a huge receipt report. So much going on in the Love
Yeah.
is Blind USA world. So, what type of stuff have you seen going on?
Okay. So I don't know if you guys have seen it out there, but like the cast of Love is Blind are chatting. They're chatting, they're yapping, like they're doing interviews. I think we've already got some podcasts going on. We've got like tons and tons of People magazine articles, which
Mhm.
we've never seen this before, to where the first six batches of episodes drop and then the cast is doing interviews answering all of the questions that we have about the first six episodes. So
Mhm.
we basically now have any question that you may have about the first six episodes of Love is Blind has been answered in an interview somewhere. Because, and
Mhm.
I don't know if that's like, we're not getting a reunion, which I know some people have said that KB and AD were talking about reunion looks when she did her podcast, because she did her podcast.
Yeah.
So I do think we're getting a reunion. I just think it's bizarre. Why do you think they're doing that?
I think they actually have done this in the past. Because I remember I think if you leave, then you're allowed to talk. You're allowed to talk about anything that's aired up to this point. So,
Right.
like, I remember with the whole Jess and Jimmy thing, I remember her doing interviews and him doing interviews, and then her yelling in the comments about what he was saying. I remember them fighting, and I know, like, on the Viall Files, as soon they had Tyler after the first drop last time before we knew anything, and
Right.
so they have done this a lot. So it's not
Yeah,
actually new, but
but it seems very like,
I think it's
W
because
why what do we need a reunion for? Like, at this point, Anna and Blake have done People magazine articles.
yeah.
They both told us why they ghosted, why they left, about her connection with Patrick, about his connection with Megan. Why would we need to see them at the reunion now? You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's the whole point, I think. They wanna get this stuff out of the way so that
Okay.
at the reunion is gonna be because they only give us an hour reunion, which is silly. They could have all this in and give us 3 hours, and we'd all watch it. So I don't know why they're doing this, but I
Okay.
think by the end, because we still have, like, the 3 more drops, I think we'll get the reunion if we get one, like, October 26th or something. Like, it's gonna be a while from now, right? So I think by then, they don't wanna be talking about this stuff. They want us to be talking about whatever couples are at the end and what's going
Okay.
on with them. Hopefully, they
Yeah.
have a lot going on or it won't be much to talk about. But, yeah, I think they do
Yeah.
just wanna get all this out of the way so that these stories aren't the focus of the reunion, which
Okay.
I think is silly. They should do it all at the reunion, give us a long one. I don't know why they keep it to an hour. I like, it's Netflix. You could have it
But
8 hours if you
I
want.
mean, I think it to your point, like how we always say, "Oh, let's break up the episodes or else we're gonna kind of forget what's in 1 and 2, 3 and
Yeah.
4 if we do one big uh recap." I think I answered my own question, because
Yeah.
it's like by the time reunion day is here, like, we even gonna know who Anna and Blake
Yeah.
is? We even
That's
gonna
what
care?
they're Yeah, that's what they're thinking. They're thinking we won't
Okay.
care about these stories by then, and so they just need to let them talk, which
Right.
I think we would care, but yeah, maybe not. We don't know what's about to happen in these next few drops, and maybe it's all gonna be so wild that they just don't wanna deal with the Anna and Blake from 4 weeks ago,
But
right?
also, like, okay, so I'm saying Anna and Blake, but like everybody's talking, right? So we have
Yeah.
Madison and Joe doing interviews.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had a chaotic first 6 episodes, and I feel like this is a big part of their story. This fight
Yeah.
in Baja, this the awkward reveal. That is something that we would need to discuss on the reunion, right? But they
Mhm.
are talking. So you guys, if you guys don't know, we're just gonna give it all to you. So
Yeah.
Anna and Blake, let's start with Anna and Blake. They both sat down with People Magazine. Obviously, the number one question for Anna, why did you leave?
Mhm.
Where did you go? She, in a nutshell, said that her parents didn't really understand the experiment, that, she helps them out a lot. So even though she tried to explain to them, I'm not going to have my phone, I'm not going to be available, they didn't really get it. And she was worried that they were worried about her. So she said that was constantly on her mind. She said, basically things were getting really vulnerable in the pods, and she realized she wasn't only sharing her experience with the women in the pods or the men in the pods, but the world, and she didn't
Mhm.
know. She just felt vulnerable, and she just felt like, is it worth it to her, this experiment, and like opening up and everybody knowing all of these things about her? So that mixed with her being concerned about her parents and if they were trying to contact her, she just decided to leave the experiment, and that she felt really bad about taking the spot away from somebody else, and that production did ask her if she wanted to say bye to Patrick, but she had been crying and she didn't look camera ready, so she didn't want to be on film, so she just decided to leave. So that was her reasoning behind leaving.
Mhm. Is
And
what she says, right?
that's what she said. Direct quotes
Yeah.
from People Magazine from Anna. So
Mhm.
that is why she left, which I think is the main topic for her. I guess maybe a question I would have for her at the reunion is like, did she ever connect with Patrick? Did they ever try? Well, we're going to see them connect at the mixer, but like, did
Yeah.
they ever try to date after? And Blake basically said, along the process, they were always encouraged that if they don't see an engagement for themselves at the end of this experiment, to just opt out of the experiment. And
Mhm.
so he said he did. He was like, he realized he needed more time. He realized he wasn't going to get to the point of an engagement. He said that him and Anna even talked about it, and they both agreed that they probably don't see an engagement in their future. And
Mhm.
Blake actually said he didn't see an engagement with anyone. So he decided to leave the experiment because it was all too soon. It's kind of like what we said. We kind of joked
Yeah.
about it. Like these people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll do this show," and then they get in it and start feeling real emotions and real, because it's like a time warp, right? It's like a simulation, right? Like
Yeah.
you start to feel in love or start to feel, these
Mhm.
things, and then it freaks you out, and then you leave. And then I think something interesting Blake said is like it didn't even cross his mind to tell Megan that he was leaving. Like he
Oh.
was like, it didn't even cross my mind
He
to
was
tell her.
not feeling it.
Yeah. He's like, it didn't even cross my mind. He does say now that he wishes that he would have, because he understands how disappointing it feels to like go in
Mhm.
for a date and then it's like no one's there.
Yeah.
But that was their answers. That was their answers. And he actually said he has spoken to both Anna and Megan, and
Mhm.
they're both great, and
Yeah.
all is well. So I don't have no more questions for Blake. That was it.
Do we know if Anna heard that Blake left and then made her choice, or did she decide
No.
before Blake?
She decided before Blake left, and then they did
Okay.
ask Blake if he left because Anna left, and he said it really didn't have anything to do with Anna leaving. It had more so to do because him and Anna had already chatted and said they weren't going to get engaged. So he was like, it had more so to do with like he didn't see himself getting engaged to anyone.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know I've seen people with their theories online just saying they thought like once Blake left, Anna didn't really want to be with Patrick, so that's why she left instead of having to like break up with him on camera, knowing like people were going to be pissed about that. So
Mhm.
that's just theories, though, that everyone is always
Yeah,
speculating, and they've been someone posted in Reddit, right, that she had a boyfriend or she has a boyfriend now, some kind of not any proof of that, no receipts, right? Just
yeah,
people kind of saying that. But just because someone has a boyfriend now doesn't necessarily mean they did then. It's been a year and a half since filming
yeah,
on this one, so it's a long break. A lot has changed. I know a lot of people are wondering if Anna and Blake are together now, but I feel like if she has a different boyfriend now, that's probably not gonna be how this goes. But that would have
Yeah.
been cool, I guess. But
That would have been cool if Blake left for Anna. I feel like that would have been a cool story, right? Like Blake left for Anna and now they're dating. Like,
yeah,
but I didn't like they asked Blake, have you talked to Megan? Have you talked to Anna? He's like, yeah, like everybody's cool. Like, no bad blood. He definitely didn't say anything about him and Anna dating or even trying to date. So
okay. I guess we will see more at the mixer. But yeah, it is annoying that they do these interviews first, right? Because he's saying nothing happened. And so now we're like, what do we want? Like the mixer, we would have all been wondering still, right? And now they're answering this, although they might just be being vague for a
maybe they're
reason. But
being vague. Yeah, maybe they're
yeah,
being vague and like there's a spark or something between her and Patrick and her and Blake or something, but I didn't get that vibe. So
no, me neither.
yeah.
And then Madison and Joe both did interviews, like you said, about that night in Baja, the drunken mess of a night.
I know you guys didn't agree on me and Ashley's take on Madison and Joe, and that's fine. We're always open to discourse and different opinions. We actually love the discourse. That's what makes talking about this fun, is
Yeah.
like everybody views different situations. I wasn't sure that Ashley even viewed it the same way as me. And what's so
Hmm.
funny, guys, is like before episode 6, my cousin was like kind of texting me her thoughts, and she said, Joe, like I hadn't watched episode 6 yet, and she goes, poor guy, Joe. And I'm thinking to myself, poor guy, like this guy sucks. Like, what is she talking about? Poor guy, like,
Yeah.
F him, like he's a freaking loser. Which I still think,
Yeah.
but then once I seen episode 6, to me, I'm like, okay, it's clear he's drunk. I know people want to assume that he was on something else, and to me, I have seen drunk people act this way. I have,
Yes.
like, exactly how Joe was acting. I have seen drunk people act this way. So that's why
Yeah.
to me, it was like quite obvious. But then when I consider that maybe she was drinking too,
Hmm.
which she admits in the article, you guys, she admits that she was not sober. Um, and that I think that had a lot to do with why it escalated the way that it did,
Yeah.
because he's out of it, and then like you're a little out of it, but you know that you're less out of it than him, so you think you're being rational, but really nobody. And that's why I hate
Yeah.
alcohol, because I'm like, nobody's being rational.
Yeah. It's
Shut the
not
fuck
good
up and
for
go to
couples.
sleep. Like everybody
Yeah.
go to sleep. Like,
And I
but
mean, I just told you guys the story a couple weeks ago. My husband, me seeing his location was in our garage, and he couldn't figure out how to get from the garage into the house. And so I have seen drunk people be out of it. I think I haven't seen people on drugs for a long time, but in my younger days, they're not out of it to that level. They're usually, like I said, more chatty, more able to like stay with it, stay in the party. And a drunk person, they need to go to bed, which is what Joe did. But again, I don't know about your opinion, but I'm not blaming Madison at all. Like, still, Joe put
no,
them in that position of getting blackout
yeah,
drunk. It's still his fault, but we're just saying, I feel like it was an unnecessary escalation where it's like she should have just let him sleep. And
yeah.
she did
Do you
say,
feel like Joe was being rude to her?
no, I feel like he was
Okay.
confused and lost. And like, yeah, and I get it. It's annoying when a drunk person is w- not knowing what's going on. But she was taking it so personally and crying as though he was saying like mean, harsh things and being
Yeah,
rude, but he was just confused. And
yeah,
she was repeating herself. He was repeating himself. She was repeating herself. They were both annoying the hell out of each other, as two drunk people do. So
yeah, yeah, and
I,
see, that's my same take. Like, I'm not blaming her. Like, of course, it's his fault he got drunk. I am curious though, why are people so upset at Joe and not as upset at Jordan? Is it because
well, we didn't
we
see
didn't really
this.
see an interaction between
Yeah.
Jordan and Megan in his drunken stupor? But I felt like they were acting the same. I felt like they were both being like kind of like into each
Hmm.
other more than they were into their women. But Madison tells People magazine that the fight was actually worse than what we saw. So, what did she say?
Well, what she said was the fight was worse than what we saw. That was the headline, and I was like, "Oh no, okay, so maybe he did get violent, he did get raging drunk, and that's horrible that they put her in this position." But no, she said it got worse. He suddenly became more coherent and wanted to order food and was able to like speak more properly. Which I don't know how that got worse. Like, that sounds, like, good to me? I don't know. A
Yeah.
drunken person and food, that sounds totally legit. A person on drugs is not usually looking for food, not
Yeah.
wanting to eat, so I don't know. It just seemed like she described it as getting worse. To me, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, you're with it now. Sorry, you were just woken up as a hammered person. You were a little confused and discombobulated for 5, 10 minutes. You're good now. Thank God. Like we can eat and chat and be
Yeah.
normal." So I don't
Yeah, but I think
know
she's
what.
also drunk and irritable, right? So she
Yeah.
now it's like, "Now you good? You was just up there talking gibberish, now you good, get out." So she
Mm,
says that she was over it. She did say that. She said, I was over it at that point, and I made him go sleep in a separate room." So,
yeah.
and then she said he also woke up confused the cameras were there
Hmm.
and was kind of, she says, yelling um about why the cameras were there, and production kind of had to tell him like, "Joe, you agreed to film today." And again, to me, that's all in alignment with what we saw. Very confused, very discombobulated, not knowing what's going on. If he didn't know that you just got back from a pool, what makes you think he's like, at this point, you don't even remember where the fuck he's at, let alone that
Yeah.
he's filming a reality TV show. You know what I mean? Which again is in line with being drunk to me, being very wasted to me. I don't know. Um, I know what drunk looks like. I know what blackout drunk looks like. I've seen it many, many times. So I don't know where people are getting the assumption that he's on something, because to me it very much looked like he was wasted.
Yeah.
But that was, I think I was expecting like, oh, what happened? Was there a blow up? Did they start
Hmm.
screaming at each other? Like, because she did say it got worse. And the worst was the food, having to sleep in the other room, and him getting upset that cameras
Which,
there.
yeah, I feel like obviously production could have solved all of this and said, this man is so drunk he has to leave this party. We're not filming him tonight. Like, we're not putting her in that position by sending her in that room. He's so drunk he had to go to sleep. She's going in another room. We'll pick this up tomorrow. But of course, they're not going to do that.
They were
We always have a
Yeah, they
fighting.
told her ass to go in there and wake him up.
Definitely. I definitely think that. And it can go one of two ways, right? It's like, I think Joe was definitely confused, but he wasn't like too angry. But what if he was and they put her in that position of like sending her in there? But again, it's always your own responsibility to not get drunk and keep control of your behavior. But at that point, they knew he wasn't in control and
Yeah.
knew that she was also drunk or drinking. It just seemed like a recipe for a disaster, but the mess, I guess, is more important than safety in some points, and they always need like this dramatic fight, right? We have a lot of these like dramatic fights at the
After the
mixer.
mixer. Yeah, we
Yeah, there
do.
always has
But
to be
I
one
think
couple. So they're like, "Yay, this is going to be our fighting couple." Because Megan obviously handled it much different than Madison. She was like, "You're annoying me, stop it." And then also, Jordan didn't leave the party, as far as we know. Maybe it's gonna
as
pick
far as
back
we
up
know.
with, Megan and Jordan having an argument or, like, discussing what happened as well, but
Right, 'cause I would like to see that. I would
yeah.
like to see what happened when they went back, because I think Jordan was just as equally as drunk, but he
Mhm.
was more so like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I love you." You know what I mean? And again, all drunk people act different. Like, there's different phases of drunkenness too, by the way. There's like,
Yeah.
some people get happy and then they get real angry and then they black out. Like, like there's different phases,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think it just depends on what happens, well, yeah, when they go back to the room and does he just go to bed? I think if they don't show us what happened, obviously they both made the smart decisions to not have a conversation in that state, right? And he probably went to sleep, she went to sleep, we'll talk tomorrow. If they don't show us anything, they obviously didn't have a fight because they'd be showing
Well,
that. So
yeah, because she said that he went to another room and slept. So,
no, 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 I mean,
oh,
Megan and
Megan. Okay,
Jordan, yeah,
yeah,
because we haven't really seen the end of their night yet. So
yeah, that's
if they
true.
show us nothing, obviously they were both too smart to fall into that, "Let's have a talk at the 2 AM drunk" trap
Yeah,
because
right.
it's
Because
not
we've
gonna go
seen it
well.
with well, actually, we didn't see it. They didn't capture it with Alex and Tim.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Where he claims that she put her hands on him, and we found out later that she didn't. Like, so I think, yeah, we definitely see it a lot.
Chelsea and Jimmy.
Chelsea and Jimmy. So I'm very curious if it's like if we have like new watchers or something that are like assuming that it was more, because I feel like we've seen this behave. We've
Maybe
seen
we've
this.
never seen someone this drunk because most people are
Yeah,
too smart to do that on
confused,
camera,
right?
right?
He was.
And the fact that we've talked about this before, but when you have a partner in crime, you end up doing a lot worse than you do solo. And I think the fact that Jordan was also willing to get blackout drunk, they like egg each other on, right? It's like, well, you're doing it, I'm doing it, we're all drunk, like no big deal. You're not thinking, right? So
Yeah, and he
I
did
mean,
say in the article it was an open bar and he took full advantage, and
yes.
he did take accountability to some regard and say he did say, "I shouldn't have gotten drunk. It was my fault. I should have controlled my liquor
Mhm.
better." They also talked about, and again, giving us all the answers, you guys. They also talked about the reveal and, how he and I mean, the thing is we've seen awkward reveals, right? And we've seen couples go on that have had awkward reveals or where we can as an audience tell, okay, either she's not attracted to him, he's not attracted to her. But we've seen the couples continue. He talks about the reveal. He talks about how it was hard for him to put the voice with the face and it was just, a really confused. He's a confused person apparently, but he was very it was very confusing for him, the reveal. And, but he says, like, this is the point of the process, right? Like, you're not
Mhm.
always gonna be with, like, your typical type, but the point is to try and to grow and to, move forward. And he was like, "That's what I was trying to do,
Yeah,
um, in this experiment." And he also brought up the comments that, he was asked by production, "What type of girls do you usually date? What do they typically look like?" So he said that's where we see him answering, like, you know he's
I like
describing what they usually look like and their body type, and he says he didn't want it to come off as body shaming. He thinks Megan is beautiful. He was just Madison is beautiful. He just that did it he was just trying to describe what his past relationships or what his typical type usually looks like, what type of girls he usually dates because that's what
Mhm.
production asked him. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think, he said it was an open bar, which is very risky of Netflix. I don't know, like, they're really towing the line of being liable because on other shows they have drink limits for a reason because you have drunk people, you can't control them anymore. And at bars and restaurants out in the world and waitresses, you can get sued for over serving. So it's like, how is
mhm.
that not the same on these shows? And I get they want these messy fights, this wouldn't happen without the open bar, but it's a risk. Like, I just don't I think they should have learned at this point. Maybe at the start it was like, whatever, it's their own responsibility, and it is at the end of the day, but also, that's not how it works for a restaurant, right? They don't say, "Oh, you have to control yourself." You can't overserve someone as a restaurant, so I don't think you can as a TV show, but
And even at, like, an all-inclusive resort, like, when you're on vacation, if they see that you're overdoing it and they see that you're getting a little belligerent, they will stop serving you. Like,
yeah.
they will refuse to serve you. So,
Yeah, I just don't think an open bar and then a hotel room with a stranger that you don't know is ever a good idea. So I think they might need to stop doing that and put in a drink limit, but I get it. We need these explosive fights. So
yeah.
the fact that someone would drink that much and they know they're on camera, there is, of course, some responsibility of yourself as well. And that was the problem with Joe. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're just going to see a lot of this going forward. I don't know if they're going to make it. I feel like he isn't that into her. She is insecure. It's gonna be a lot of her crying and a lot of him just running away. Like, I don't think
Do
he's
you think so you said you don't think he's into her. Do you think he's trying?
it does seem like he's trying. I mean, at this point, they've been sleeping together, right? And I think
Mhm.
they were doing good, but this night shows that they're not compatible. So I don't know how it's gonna be going forward, but yeah, he's
Right.
not in
And
a position to reassure her all the time. That's not his style. She needs reassurance. He gets blackout drunk. I don't think that's good for her if she's someone who gets emotional and, you know,
yeah, I
needs
do think that we need to see more, right? I think we
Mhm,
need to see more. Like, was this an isolated incident where it's like you're having a good time because you're on vacation and you're with your boys, your pod boys? Or do you party constantly? Do you get drunk constantly? Do you black out constantly? Like, and she said in the article, like she's trying to observe, right? So I'm like,
mhm.
okay, that's a smart thing, right? You're looking for a husband, like you want to observe if this is a normal behavior or if this is an isolated isolated incident. So, to me, it feels like he is like maybe even though she's not his typical type. I don't know why, as viewers, we get so offended when the women are not the man's type, but when the man is not the woman's type, we be like, yeah. Bitch. And I
I
think
know.
it's because we know that as women, we're not shallow. Like physical attraction can grow, where men are a little bit more
Mhm.
shallow. But I do think that he's trying, right? Because I
Yeah.
think we saw the same with Jimmy. Like Chelsea wasn't his typical type, but he was committed to the process and like trying to see if
Mhm.
the physical attraction could grow, which I feel like that is what Joe is doing. But a lot of people don't have that sentiment. They're just like, no, he doesn't like her. Like, but to me, he, he's trying to like her. Like he's trying to
Mhm.
let that physical attraction grow. And I do think he likes her like internally.
Yeah, and I think we just can't take it personally. Like if someone says their type is very thin women and they're not into curvy women, then that's one person. Don't put that, it's not like that doesn't mean no one can have a curvy body. There's millions of men who love a curvy body. Those are your people. Like don't if this guy likes like you can't lie about what you like, just like with the height thing with men, right? Like if you're not into short men, you're not into them and you want to find someone who is, that's their type. That's the whole
Yeah.
point is like they are supposed to try though to see past these things that were their usual
Right.
preferences, and that's what they're
Yeah.
doing, but that doesn't take away what your old preference was, right? We've seen that in every installment of this where there's women and men who are like, "That's not who I usually go for, but I wanna see if this could work." So,
Yeah.
yeah, we can't fault people for saying, "That's not my usual type." Of course, it would be amazing if everyone accepted every body type, but there's, of course, gonna be people who do and people who don't, and I think as long as you're not speaking about it in a negative way, I do think the way he worded it was a little weird, which is what
Yeah,
people are
he
having a
needs
problem with.
some
The bigger
oh,
body thing or whatever
he
he
needs
said.
like yes,
It
he
made it
definitely
sound like he's calling her bigger body, which makes so many women that are that size or bigger feel like that's a bigger body. Like, what are you talking about? So he just should
yeah.
have worded it differently
He
because,
he needs like definitely needs some vocabulary lessons because even
yeah,
his wording on the show, like you could tell he's trying to be delicate and it's like don't use words like bigger, smaller. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just, and in no way are we like defending him. I got a lot of that in my comments too. It's like, no, it's just
no,
what we saw. And it's like also two things can be true at once. Like, I do think that there's something off about Joe. I do think he's a douchebag. I do think he's fake. I do think a lot. All the things, but I do what he is trying because he could also if he did what Casey just did to Patrick, everybody would also be in an uproar. You know what I mean?
hmm
So,
yeah. The whole point was we want them to try and see it through and try. And so he's
yeah,
doing that, right?
y-
And so is
yeah,
everyone else there that maybe isn't with someone that's their usual type, like KB or everybody. They're all trying, right? So we have to give them grace and
yeah,
accept that they're not immediately going to be like, "You're the hottest thing I've ever seen." It
right.
just
Unless it's Anton, which, right,
yeah,
but
yeah. He
speaking of Casey and Patrick, they also did an interview. Patrick sat
yes.
down with Tatum and with people, and then Casey talked to Tatum or Tutum. I don't know how you say it, but
I think it's
they
ta-dum,
both
like the sound, the
Tatum.
Netflix sound.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tatum. Next
yeah.
door.
I think
That
we
is
were confused about that
so
before, and someone
clever.
said it in the comments.
That
So
is very clever. Ta-dum.
yes.
I love that. Anyway, so they both had very different recollections of what went down at this awkward hotel lobby
Yeah.
breakup slash continuing to date
Yeah.
scene. So she is doubling down, Ashley. She told Tatum that she did want to date Patrick after
Oh no.
she's saying she just didn't want to continue on to Baja. The process was moving too fast for her, that she did have every intention of going back home and dating him. She said she's proud of herself for not just continuing on with something for a TV show. She just needed to take it slow. The only way that they were going to have a shot was if they slowed it down and really got to know each other off camera. She said that she has nothing to do with attraction, that she thinks that he's a very handsome guy. She's doubling down on it. I don't know if she did this article before she knows that we saw her tell production
Probably.
that it was because of attraction, but she doubled down on it. She said, "No, I did want to date him." Meanwhile, Patrick talked to people and said they went their separate ways. He never saw her again after that. And yeah, I don't,
Like,
maybe she doesn't know that we know that she told production it's not gonna grow. He deserves somebody obsessed with him. It's not me. She doesn't see the physical attraction growing. So I don't know, because she doubled down on everything she said. She said she never lied to Patrick and she meant what she said.
but she literally said nothing because she was like, "Yeah, no, no, yeah." Like, what was she
She said
saying?
it wasn't a break. She said it wasn't a breakup. That's what she said.
So did he DM her? She didn't say, right?
She didn't say, but
Did he say?
Patrick and they didn't ask, so maybe that's a question for the reunion, but what he did say is that after the hotel, they went their separate ways. He said he obviously some flags went up for him after. He said he was very confused. He didn't take it as a breakup. He did say that. He did not take it as a breakup. He took it as her wanting to continue to date, but like some flags went up because he couldn't understand how one minute I think we're going to Mexico and then the next minute you're telling me that you want to like slow things down, break up. Like he said that she wasn't clear, he wasn't clear, but what is clear is that they did not see each other again after that hotel
Mm.
meeting. So it's like,
Okay,
if
well,
she wanted to date, why didn't you?
yeah. Yeah, hopefully we get that tea at the reunion. That's something that they still have to share. Like, how did that go down? Who reached out first? Did you just get
Did you
ghosted?
try to reach out? Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause they didn't ask Patrick that if he tried to
yeah.
reach out to her.
Mm,
He said that the whole interaction just threw him off and he had
mhm.
to go on a healing journey after.
Well, that makes sense. I do feel for him because, he went in with all these fears and literally what he said would happen happened. But then, like you said, also he needs to try to be more confident because as women, we can read that because we aren't always necessarily about the physical attraction. It's like, the swag and the confidence can really change somebody's opinion. If you believe in
Yeah.
yourself and you're like, oh, I know I'm hot, then it really makes the
Yeah.
person you're with be like, oh, yeah, you are. Instead, like, the self-deprecating is hard sometimes to be attracted
Yeah.
to, so
Look at Lil Wayne.
yeah,
He's like
there's
one of
so
the
many
most
men.
unattractive people on the planet Earth, but during his when he was the shit, he was so confident that he had all the baddies, like, and I
Yeah,
was left looking like, "Oh, Lord," but he had the confidence of, Michael B.
yeah,
Jordan, so
the fame and the money probably helps too with that, so
yeah, that's
now that
true.
Patrick's famous, I'm sure it's helping his confidence and his DMs, so yeah. Any other receipt reports from the cast?
I think who did we cover everybody? We covered Madison and Joe, we covered
Patrick,
Casey and Patrick, we covered
Anna, and
Anna
Blake,
Anna and Blake. Oh, KD and Edmund. She
KB,
says, huh? KB.
KB.
Did
Oh, I
I
thought you
say
said
KD?
KD.
What is
I
that?
don't know.
I did. I
Too many
did. There's so many. I'm still gonna use
letters.
KB and Edmund. She says that she told him in the pods that
Right.
she sat down with People Magazine. She said she told him in the pods that she was abstinent. So he knew. She said she didn't feel like that would be something to hide from somebody that you're going to get engaged to, because when you're engaged, people expect to have sex. So
Yeah.
she said that it wasn't just one conversation that they had, it was multiple conversations that they had. And he said he was okay with it. So she was really taken aback by his behavior. She said that they also slept separately that night, but she slept on the balcony and he slept in the room. She said she went and slept on the balcony.
He couldn't go on the balcony? He made her go on the balcony? Oh, man.
He made her go on the balcony, Ashley.
That would've been it. I would've been flying home the next day. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's
So
crazy.
that was, and she said that what's so crazy is like, again, only this first 6 episodes drop, but because they're doing these interviews, it's like one can assume what happens with them, because she straight out said in that interview that he gave her the ick.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from the ick. So
No.
we all know, I mean, like anybody can see, right? Like a bat can see that they're not going to get married, but you just publicly said that he gave you the ick. So we now know y'all are not getting married.
A
Um,
bat can see.
yeah,
I
you
haven't
can't
heard that.
you can never come back from the ick. So she said
Mhm.
that, and then she also said that she didn't appreciate in that moment that, he threw up her having a one night stand in her
Mhm.
face because she says that that's something that she shared in private, and she feels like if he hadn't have brought it up in that moment it probably wouldn't have come up on camera at all.
Mhm.
And then she said that she then became responsible for his feelings when she was setting a boundary. Now he's crying, now he's having a tantrum, now I'm having to console you over something that you knew way back in the past before we even got engaged. So
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed fine with it until he heard all the other men had had sex on the trip, right? And then it bothered him, which is so ridiculous in high school. It's like just because everyone's doing it doesn't you already knew her reasoning, you agreed to it, so that's what it is. Who cares what everyone else is doing? It was like very like childlike, immature as we've seen from Edmund before, which a lot of psychologists, therapists have reached out because we were asking, like, "What? How do you explain this?" And they said, I can't remember what the exact terminology is, but basically, if you deal with trauma as a child, you can kind of get frozen in that state, right? And so that's probably what's happened with Edmund. He shared that he was in foster care and had a traumatic childhood, so that's why in these emotional situations, he's reverting back to that state, which is really sad. I don't know. I don't think he mentioned like, does he do therapy or anything, but
I think he
I
said he does. Yeah.
okay.
I think he said he
Yeah, so he's
does.
probably something he's been working on then. So, it is definitely confusing how because they say they do such big checks on people and psychologists see them and it's like how did they let someone like Evan on the show? Not that there's anything
It
wrong with
was
him, but you could
intentional.
see that he couldn't handle the emotional levels of the show. It's very intense for anyone who hasn't had trauma. So, it's
Yeah.
hard to see why they would be like, "This is a great person to go on and get married in a month." Like, I just don't know how that happened.
My thing is this was intentional. There's
Mhm.
no way that Edmund made it through multiple rounds of casting and interviews and therapist without we he said it in his Netflix interview that he eats boogers. So I can only imagine the things that he said in his other interviews. It was
Mhm.
very intentional. They saw this and thought, he's a character, he's going to be entertaining for the show. Let's put him on. Again, I think that Netflix is very well aware that the show has lost its plot. So at this point,
Mhm.
they're just trying to give us drama. They're just trying to give us cinema. They're just trying to give
Yeah.
us entertainment because there's no way that you would look at Edmund and say he's a good candidate for marriage. And they don't understand that when you have women on the other side, which I will say this is probably the first season where the women also don't seem like they're there for marriage. At least Annie doesn't. Like I don't think that anybody's serious about the experiment. I think they're all there to gain a little something something.
Mhm.
But they don't understand the dangers of if you do have a woman who is there for marriage and you're just putting these men in for play because they're gonna be entertaining, they don't understand that that could potentially be
Yeah.
very harmful, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I did see Nick in his post because he tried to clarify his comments about having gay children, and we talked
mhm,
about that on our last episode, so I won't repeat what he said, but he did now he said that the studio told him this. I don't know if he misspoke or if he's just saying that, but he said they edit to agitate, and that is very clear in this season. To leave in I've had people reach out as well that have children with type 1 diabetes, and they said, "Thank you for saying," like, how could they leave that conversation in unclarified? They're putting out that narrative that type 1 diabetes is caused by diet and lifestyle, which I thought everybody knew is not true. Apparently, everyone doesn't know. And they left Mike's comments in there without any clarification, right? And so
yeah,
that makes sense because they knew that was going to get people riled up that are aware of the proper terminology for type 1 diabetes. They knew that would agitate and get people talking. So it's clear they're just editing to have us all talking, which
right.
as people that talk about the show, we appreciate, but it's hard when you're also dealing with people that we assume are there for real reasons to get married, to fall in love, and we're watching them just be played with. So if they're all
Yeah.
in on it though, then whatever. I guess this is
Yeah, there's no
entertainment at this
world
point.
in which I don't think that Megan corrected him. Like she had to. Her dad had the same thing. Like
Mhm.
she had to correct him and say, actually, that type 1 diabetes is not caused by diet and exercise. It's caused by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine that they did have that conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, they definitely they're leaving topics open for everyone to discuss. Like obviously this is very race heavy season. We've seen that for and political the last few seasons and it's like at first I was like, why would they do this? But it's all very intentional. So for people up in arms at Netflix, they don't care. I don't think they want us talking. They want
Don't
these
care.
big conversations. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, and for in some instances, it is good to bring it out and have people talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they thought by leaving that diabetes conversation in, that would get people talking and correcting, and it does start a bigger conversation because a lot of people were thinking this that didn't know, and now maybe they do if there's enough discourse. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
Exactly.
they're finding some way to say, like, we're doing a good thing here by having people talk about these big topics, but some like kissing the floor, I don't know if we needed to see that. So
Eating booger. There I mean, Edmund's
yeah.
actions are, like, very bizarre, and I feel like Netflix leaving him in is a little mean, actually. It's
It
really
yeah.
mean,
Oh, I
you
thought you
know?
said mean because he is also a little mean
Meme,
as well.
mean, all of the above,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
um
If he's in on it, then great,
and
you
yeah, if
know?
he's playing a character, that's why I would like somebody from Edmund's real life to, like, come forward and say, "This is actually how he acts," or, "This isn't how he acts," because it's very possible that this is a character that he is
Mhm.
portraying. He is doing it to get us talking. He is doing it to get the memes. He is doing it, because he thinks it's funny. So,
Yeah. Yeah, if he's fine with it, then great. And I mean, yes, they are all adults. They all signed these contracts knowing,
yeah.
they filmed this a year and a half ago when season 6 was dropping. They know the magnitude of the show, right? At that point, we all knew this was a huge show. So it's
Yeah.
not a shock. It is shocking that it seems like some of them got in the pods and were like, whoa, I can't do this. Like, I guess you don't understand it until you're there, but
Yeah, I think we've heard all the cast say that. You don't understand it until you're there. Like, you
mhm,
do feel like you're falling in love. You do feel like, you could get married. You do feel like, and then that's why I think sometimes we see that shift when they get back in the real world and they start going to work and they start going, living together. That's why we see the dynamic shift is because
mhm.
you're no longer in, that isolated
Yeah, a
situation.
little
Yeah.
bubble. Mhm.
Yeah. That's the receipt report. So we've
Yeah.
got a lot of tea coming out, a lot of them
Oh,
spilling.
I do have a little exclusive tea, we'll call it. But maybe we don't have the full tea yet. We got a little tidbit of tea, but we noticed at the end when people were getting engaged, there was Anastasia, how do you say it? Anastasia. I think she
Mhm.
goes by Annie on her Instagram, but they probably just didn't want to have two Annies. But we noticed her and Jensen are both there at the end. So I asked around some people to find out what happened with Annie and Jensen. Apparently, they did not get engaged, but she was in a triangle with, I think, one of our engaged men. And so that I heard that this man's partner maybe isn't as into him as we think. So I don't know what's the tea there. We got like a little start of the tea. We'll keep doing some digging, but there was some triangles we didn't see, basically, which we
Okay.
figured they don't show us every little thing. So I do wonder. Oh,
Sorry.
it's
I was
okay.
trying to no, I was
It's all
trying to
good.
hold it so bad. 42.
It's all good.
So sorry. I was like,
No, it's all good. Remember that time I coughed every 5 minutes for an entire episode? Just scared for that season to come. But
no,
do you want to get water or something?
no, no. I'm okay.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I just wonder who her the other person was, because maybe it was Anton. Like we saw nothing else for Anton, or maybe it was. I don't think it was Jordan because he said he only Megan was his connection. So we'll keep you
Mm.
guys posted. But we figured there was more couples that we didn't see, and seeing them at the end makes me wonder about all these other triangles we didn't hear about. So we'll get to the bottom of it for you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, because I think we ask for that every season. We say we want to see the other connections, and then
Hmm.
I think this season they really gave us a lot of the
Yeah.
other connections. Like they're listening. They just need to learn to find a healthy balance because I think what they're missing, right? I think
Hmm.
what they're missing is why we like to see the other connections is because we all want that moment where we see the couples meet up and you're like, "Oh damn, that was my other connection and she's hot
Hmm.
and I didn't pick her." I feel like that element has been missing from Love is Blind for a few seasons. I think the last
Yeah.
time we saw that maybe was, and correct me if I'm wrong because my memory sucks, but season 3, right? Where we see Cole, where we see, what was his name that was with Zenna, where we see him meet
Cool.
Colleen. and we see Bartice meet Raven, and
Yeah.
we see, you know what I mean? I feel
Well,
like
we did see it with Jessica and Jimmy. That was a big part of season 6, so but yeah, I don't
right.
think the last
But
2 seasons have had that.
But again, Jesse and Jimmy, yeah, they seen each other at the mixer, right? But it's so much more fun
Oh, you
when
mean at the couples thing?
yes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's what we want to see. We want to see like if Jess would have gotten engaged to somebody else. Now they're all in Mexico together. Now they have to see each other multiple times and they have to spend time with each other. Like
Well,
that
they missed out on that big time in season 8 with Sarah and Joey, who are now, like, totally in love and in a serious couple, and we didn't know they were each other's number 2, and there they were on this damn trip together and all the whole season probably in love with each other with other people, and they didn't show us any of that, so
right,
they
right. So
definitely
I think
lost a big
I
story.
think they always like miss the mark, right? Like we do
Mhm,
want to see the other couples like a little bit. We want to see like if Anastasia and him got like we want to know about the engaged couples, right? Like
mhm,
everybody's always interested in the people that got engaged that weren't shown. And again, I know that they can't show us everything, but I think they need to like kind of like okay like we want the triangles that make sense that are going to now make sense at the mixer that are going to kind of like now they have to be around each other. Like, did any
yeah,
of the engaged couples have a connection with somebody else that's engaged? Like, that's what we want to see. So,
mhm,
like, they
yeah.
got it, but they didn't.
Okay, so let's get into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're on season 6, episode 3. The episode starts out with Lisa at her restaurant. She's prepping for a big event. She really likes everybody to know that she's a really big deal, right? So she's
Yeah.
listing off all the celebrities that are coming to her event. I didn't realize because I know she has a liquor brand and she's talked about like being on a plane with Snoop Dogg, but I didn't know she had like these really big celebrities coming to her restaurant opening. So I feel like maybe there is a little validity to what she says about being a big deal if these people actually went. We didn't actually see the proof, but she said they were going. So
Yeah. I mean, I hate a flexer. I hate a name dropper. I think that's like such a like annoying quality to have is like name dropping. So, yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I
that's
think
her.
there's a little bit of truth to it, but I think, she maximizes and exaggerates too. So,
Yeah, she's a big name dropper. That's like what she's known for. So she'll probably get on your nerves. She's on a lot of people's nerves right now, I think. So clearly the cast. So
okay.
then we see Bronwyn have a really awkward dinner with her husband. Obviously he's a lot older. I think he's like 25 years older than her. So
Okay.
because she's 39 and he's like 65.
Oh,
So
she's
yes,
39. Okay, I thought she was older
yes.
than 39.
No, she's very young for housewives land.
Okay.
Um, yeah, she does seem older, I think, because she has, like, a 20-year-old daughter. She was, like, a teen
She
mom, so
seems yeah, and I'm not even saying this to, like, be a bitch or, like, be an asshole, like, I genuinely thought that maybe she was, like, closer to 50, like, yeah,
I
40.
have heard other recaps also with the same sentiments, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just, like, the way she looks, because I don't feel like she looks old.
It's not I don't think it's
It's her
the way she looks, I
demeanor,
think her
right?
demeanor, the
Mhm.
way she dresses, like, kind of,
Yeah,
like, in alignment with
the
the
high
other
fashion.
women, she looks maybe right up there with them, like, you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, she blends in well. You wouldn't be like, "Oh, wow, she's quite a bit younger." Like, Whitney, I think, is around the same age as well. She might be a couple years older, but, what did you think? Like, I don't know. I don't think I could be in a marriage like that. Like, it was awkward. It's clear they don't really have a lot in common. It's clear I mean, I think when you're 65, I will probably at least be like, you're kind of cranky and you're like, I don't want to hear about this BS with your friends and the drama and the gossip. This is not what I want
Dang.
to do at this stage of my life.
God damn, Ashley. He was like but I guess apparently maybe he's had some issues with how he talks to her in the past on camera. I know they showed a little clip.
So last season was Bronwyn's first season. So it's the first we saw of them. And yeah, he was very kind of harsh with her, which the viewers were shocked by. And then she at times would throw him under the bus. Like there was a big scene where she said he cheated on her, basically. So everybody's like, "Oh, damn! Like he's so much older. He cheated on you." Then
Yeah.
later, like, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I love Bronwyn. I think she's a great addition, but she does have a bit of a fibbing problem because
Okay.
she said he cheated, then later on, she kind of backtracked to it was a coworker that he was talking to on the computer that maybe was a little more friendly than it should have been. It was nothing like sexual, but it was, too intimate for a coworker, but not necessarily cheating, but not appropriate. So, by the way she had originally put it out there was like he was having a full affair, like in a hotel room affair.
Which is probably what he was doing.
I was gonna say, definitely
Yeah.
it could have been that it is what happened and she backtracked to save him, so we don't know, but now that we've seen her lie about this necklace, it's like it's
Yeah.
hard now to know, like, what's true and what's not, but
Right.
I definitely obviously he has money, but I think she has her own career now, right? Like, I don't think she needs to stay with him necessarily, so she always says she, likes sleeping with him, loves their relationship, so
Yeah,
we'll
she
see what
loves
happens. We do.
sucking that gout dick. That's the one with the gout dick.
Yes, that's the one. I feel like sometimes, because we do see a lot of divorces once people start the show, and sometimes I feel like women go on the show sort of to get some freedom. You know what I mean? Like they want to get divorced, but they don't have their own career. Then they go on the show, they make their own money, they become a big deal, and then they're like, okay, now I have that power to get out of this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you see genuine love with them, or
I mean, I
what
think
do
I
you?
need to see more of them. I think this was my first introduction to him. I thought that was her dad at first, and so I was very confused. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just he like kind of was just really stale. Like there's no banter. Like and banter's so important to me. So I'm like,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, I
hey,
think
if
when
he's
they
got a bag, you know,
Yeah. When
gotta
they met, I think
gotta
she was a single mom, she had a small child, and I don't know, I can't remember how long ago it was, I think her child was maybe, like, 5, so let's say, like, it's been, like, 15 years, 10 years. So I think when they met, obviously, he was older, but not as old, and I think she respected him, he's really smart, he's really good at business, so I think it was a good partnership at first, but I definitely do wonder about these couples where, say, the man is, like, 40 and the woman is early 20s, and that's still, like, they could still find a lot of common ground, but what about when the woman gets to 40 and the man is now, like, a senior, right, like 60s, 70s? How
yeah,
do they make that work? Because women at, like, 35 and 40, you're sort of in, like, a prime, right? Like, you're kind of just coming into your own, you're still, like yeah, I just wondered and so seeing this dynamic, I'm like, "Oh, is that how it goes?" Because I don't know. I think
yeah.
it does work, obviously, do see people stay together forever despite a huge age gap, but
Yeah, and
I
we
don't know, there
literally
has to
see
be
her mom telling her, like, "You needed him," like, taking little digs, like,
what did
you
yeah, what did you think of her mom? She was pretty harsh.
I mean, she's harsh, but, moms be keeping it real with you, so,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I think there's a way to do it in a nice way. My mom's also very blunt where you'd be like,
Yep.
"Jesus," like, my grandma's like that too. So, I mean, she told her, but she didn't
Sometimes you
lie,
need to hear
but
it, right? I know. It's hard when parents are real, but that's their job, I guess, right? To keep it real. But also her mom does seem to be going through a lot. So she might not necessarily always be like this, dealing with
Mhm,
her dad and moving and leaving your house. Like that's a lot. So
yeah,
if I knew my mom talked to me that way though, I probably would just not have her on camera. But Bronwyn is like a pattern, it seems like, her husband, he doesn't talk to her so nicely, now her mom, it's, like, sad if this is what's happening in her life, but she seems so strong with the women and holds her own so well that
yeah,
it's like, "Why don't you do that with your family then?" It seems like
yeah,
when she's around her husband and her mom, she kind of is, like, meek and like, "Oh, that wasn't nice," but, like, with the women, she will go toe to toe, so
yeah,
just different dynamics, I guess, but
yeah,
then we see Lisa, she does, like, an event where only some of there's the A team and then the D team, she says. So, like, typical Lisa, she thinks she's better than a lot of these women. So,
mhm.
what did they go gun shooting? Is that what they
They
were doing?
went yeah, like,
There's
shooting
a
or
lot
something.
of that. A lot of guns happening on these shows lately because we just saw
Yeah.
this on OC as well. It's weird. I don't know. I've
Oh,
never
we
tried
did.
it.
We did. Me neither. I've
Oh,
never
okay. I thought I was like, I'm like, is this an activity women are doing? Maybe it's the hunting wives that has everybody like on.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
It's just not my thing. But
Not
anyways,
my thing either.
interesting.
Like, I wouldn't know what to do. I don't even know how to hold a gun.
No, well, don't say that. Be like, we know what we're doing. Don't break into our houses. We got
Yeah,
guns over here.
I'll bust a cap in your house. And
We
she's
got
like,
all the guns. Yeah, we know what we're doing.
I don't know how to work again, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to work nunchucks. Okay, bitch, how fuck you.
I got a baseball bat and a couple other things under my bed. So I think like the rest of the episode basically was the whole poster board dinner. I love when a housewife prints out a receipt. They like to do this. So this was a very like presentation. So
It was it was interesting. It was interesting because it's like I love a receipt, but did you put this dismissed on here yourself? Or like,
it was like a
like,
homemade
is this
receipt.
a receipt? Like, or did you just make this? Or is this an actual court document?
Yeah.
Or like
It was definitely confusing, right? Like, I think they all kept trying to get, like, some real answers and information out of Lisa, and she just kept saying, "Dismissed," right? And then I think we find out not all of it is dismissed. I think one of it's still active, so
yeah, she's very difficult to have a conversation with. Like you
mhm.
said, like they're trying to ask her like what did you hope to gain from this? What was the point of this? And she's like, for you to mind your business. That is quite literally the opposite of like why we would be here. Like why would you be addressing this if we need to like mind our business, you know? And
Yeah.
and that's what makes it like, oh bitch, you lying, right? Is because we're asking you questions and you won't answer. Your only answer is, "It was dismissed. It was dismissed. It was
Yeah.
dismissed." Like, you won't answer. You won't acknowledge what we're asking. You don't
Mhm.
listen, and then you just start spewing things from left field to get the topic off of what we're
Yeah.
actually talking about, which is always like you're deflecting. So,
Mhm. There was one thing I thought that did answer a lot of questions about this whole Amex in some other man's name, right? Which they kind of made it to seem like suspicious, like this is like her boyfriend or something. But if it was a business partner and it was like a business Amex, I felt like, okay, because that was out of all of it, the only thing that I was confused about because she is right. Like if you're in business, businesses get sued. It is a part of having a business. And so the only part for me, because I was like, why do all these women really care? But this is what they do, right? They dig into each other's businesses. But that was the weird part. I was like, why do you have an Amex in another man's name? Maybe there is truth to all of this
and
affair
wasn't it the
rumors.
lawyer again that even said that? Like the lawyer is the one that was like he was a business partner. So it's like again, even though that was like valid information, like Lisa did not have the ability to say that. Like you dumb
Hmm.
hoes don't know shit. Like it was my business partner. Of course we had
Yeah.
a card in each other's name. Of course we had business expenses that we spent on the card that he's now trying to say was in another capacity dumb hoes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she doesn't even have the capacity to say that. Like, the
Hmm.
lawyer girl had to jump in and be like, it was a business partner. So we're like, okay, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Lisa, you're
Yeah.
so bad at like arguing or like rebuttaling that you have valid points that you can't even get across because you so on the defense and trying to find something
Hmm.
to attack them with that like you're not even using your weapons. You're not even using what you have in your arsenal. That's called a
Yeah.
receipt. Like I'd have been like, oh, you see this? Yeah, we're business partners. You see that we have a business. You see that we have
Uh-huh.
a joint card as you do in business. These are the transactions since you're so worried about it. Like, you know what I mean? That's a receipt to where you shut a bitch up. Cause then what the fuck
Yeah.
if they think? They're gonna be like, oh, you know?
Lisa needs some lessons from you because, yeah, she's the opposite of Bronwyn in that she does what a lot of people do, where you're in the moment and you just not saying anything coherent. And then you get home and you're like, I should have said this and this and this, but she can't get it together. So she's just saying, calling
Talking about
names and
eyebrows and stuff. Like, girl, what? What are we talking about right now? Like,
yeah, she starts insulting people's looks. Obviously, that hilarious part where she said redhead and Whitney thought she said redneck and they were both confused, which is really sad because you probably wouldn't know because I think it was from another season, but Whitney has dyed her hair red because she has a daughter with red hair. And redheads get made fun of a lot, she feels like, and her daughter's always getting made fun of her hair. So she's natural. I don't know if she's naturally, but she's usually blonde. But
she looks
lately,
really good as a redhead too. Like,
yeah, and that's
I
why
thought
she
that
did
was
it.
her natural hair. I thought,
No,
and she
she's,
looks good, and that's really sweet of her to do
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So for
every
Lisa
season
to attack her for it is actually really shitty.
it
Lisa's a bitch.
is.
I don't think I like her.
Yeah, she knows that Whitney has a redheaded daughter, so to use that as an insult, redhead, is pretty sick because I would assume we all know that's why Whitney did it because her daughter was I'm not sure both she has 2 kids, maybe they both have red hair, and yeah, she wanted to be in solidarity with them and be like, "Look, red hair can be hot and
That
look
is
good,"
some
and well, not for kids, we don't have to be like Mike and say kids are hot, but, like, it can be
yeah,
beautiful and you can grow up
yeah,
and have red hair and still it
and
doesn't.
also look, you know what I mean? Like, look more like your like, I think that's sweet. So, yeah, that's really shitty of Lisa. She's a I don't like her. She's a shit person. She doesn't know how to argue. She doesn't know how to make a receipt. Your whole lunch was literally fucking pointless, bitch. It was just a bunch of documents that said dismiss. Like,
I will say I'm usually like a Lisa apologist. I love she does make the seasons good. She's like that Tamara type character where she
mm,
is like
yes,
willing to
absolutely.
be the
Yeah,
villain, and
I
I
see that.
have enjoyed her, but I did find this, like, with calling Whitney the redhead, I just thought if she would've handled it the way you just said, she could have come into that, lunch with class, with her receipts and said, I understand you guys have questions because 'cause I've also picked at your businesses, it's fully
Mm,
within your rights, here's the what do you wanna know, right? That's kind
yeah.
of what Whitney did when Lisa started trying to bring up her business, she's like, "Yeah, this is what happened." What? Like, I'm just gonna be honest. So Lisa was so defensive that it just came out mean and attacking everybody else instead of
You
just
know,
defending
when you're
herself.
so defensive over something, it makes you seem like you're lying even more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely and she can't be so angry because she's done it to everybody else. This is what they do. They all have, like, skeletons, and the whole point of the show is to come out with your skeletons. So Lisa
Right.
could have gone about this whole season better and just been like, "Yeah, I'm getting sued. I'm a big deal. I have a lot of businesses. I have a lot of money. I get sued. Like, whatever. Ask me if you want what you want to know. I'll tell you guys I have nothing to hide. It's all public court documents." But
So
she's just
so Lisa does in fact like have a lot of money that's like her money, not her husband's money.
I don't know if it's in fact. She says she does, and she has the business. So like she just opened a restaurant, so you would have to assume she has money. But in terms of like actual proof, I haven't seen any. This is like
Yeah.
a lot of housewives
Mhm.
start like this, and then 5, 10 years in, bankruptcy, jail. So we have to wait and see with Lisa.
Yeah.
But so
Well,
far, it seems, and not. I don't think it's her. Like I think her and her husband have built together. She didn't like marry someone with money. I
okay.
think they started at the same position and built the businesses together. So yeah, she definitely not like that's why she throws that in Bronwyn's face, like gold digger and gout,
Oh, okay.
whatever. Because I don't. Lisa definitely didn't do that. I think her husband and her have been together for a long time and they're like the same age. But in terms of if they actually have a lot of money, to be determined. We'll see. So
Okay.
people are trying to prove that they don't. So
Okay.
yeah. Any other Salt Lake City thoughts before we move on to London?
Just that it's a mess. Like
Yeah.
it's a dumpster fire of a mess. And I think of all the we know that I'm a new housewives girly, so I think of all of the ones that I've watched.
Yeah.
Um this is my favorite, and I heard the Potomac's really good, so I'm excited to for that one to start. I know it's starting soon, so.
It starts today.
Oh, okay, there we go, because my girlfriend was over here and she's like, "I love Potomac," like,
Oh,
you
good.
know? And so I was like, "Okay, yeah," I was like, "We're doing that one, we're covering that one on the pod, so I'll be watching." She's like, "No, you have to go back and watch when Karen was there." I was like, "Okay, well, I don't have time to go back and watch a
No.
motherfucking thing, but Imma just jump in and we gonna
Yeah.
go."
I think Potomac is gonna make it 5 or 6 housewife shows that we're now covering, plus Love is Blind, plus Love Island Games, plus yeah, we got a lot, but we love it. We're
Well, the Love
keeping it.
Island Games is over tonight, so.
Yeah, not sad about that, but, I'm kinda sad. I do like seeing it, like we said, it's just too many days a week to have a good relationship with it right now. Summertime, we got time. Right now, we don't. So, I'm
Right,
excited to see the ending, but we'll miss it when it's gone. I know. I'll be like,
yeah,
"Oh, so long until it comes back." So,
yeah,
but you know what's crazy? If we're going to BravoCon, we're gonna see all these people in person, so that's gonna be funny. Like, Lisa is gonna be there. All these
yeah,
people we're talking trash about. Just kidding, we don't really do that, but with housewives, there's not really like, I don't know. That's the whole point. They're talking trash about each other, so
yeah, for
that's the
sure.
name of the game. So they're usually pretty good about it.
So
Well, thank you for listening, guys. We have a lot more episodes coming out soon. We have the Love is Blind France reunion, Love Island Games, and we'll be back to talk about Real Housewives of London and Miami and OC and Potomac, as we just said. So
Yeah.
super excited.
Oh, loaded,
Lots
loaded.
of
Okay, lots of stuff coming,
no
guys.
sleeping for you and no social life. We just
And then
like
I think the craziest part is that I have my niece here with me right now. So I'm like, I'm getting a little glimpse of momhood, and I'm like, I'm in awe of you always. But now that I'm getting a little glimpse of like having to do all of this with a child, essentially, I'm like, oh my God, how does Ashley do it? Like, you're literally a superhero. Like,
no,
but
it's
yeah,
just
we gonna get it we gonna get it to get that.
yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of organizing and planning and time management. So we're getting like a master class in that. But at least all these shows are so fun to watch and we love
Yes.
talking about it and having such an amazing community of listeners. So and of course we'll be back with the next drop of Love is Blind USA.
Mm.
So we'll see you guys probably later today.
Yeah. Bye,
Bye.
guys.